In 1415, a single voyage set sail from the coast of Portugal that would reshape human geography forever. But what you might not know is that African sailors had been navigating these same waters for centuries before that fateful year. Welcome to Pana-Afric, where we examine the moments that defined a continent and the truths that history tried to bury. For too long, the narrative of African history has been filtered through the lens of colonialism and conquest. We've been told that Africa was a blank slate waiting to be discovered, a continent without innovation, without empire, without the sophisticated civilizations that shaped our world. But imagine instead a different story. Imagine kingdoms of unimaginable wealth, centers of learning that rivaled any university in Europe, and trade networks that connected continents centuries before the so-called Age of Discovery. Let's begin with the Mali Empire. In 1324, Mansa Musa, the ruler of Mali, undertook a pilgrimage to Mecca that would become the stuff of legend. His procession included 60,000 people and 80 camels, each carrying 300 pounds of gold dust. When Musa passed through Cairo, the sudden influx of gold into the Egyptian economy actually caused inflation. Think about that. A single African ruler's generosity literally disrupted the economic balance of the entire Mediterranean world. Yet how many of us learned this in school? The University of Timbuktu was established in the 12th century and housed over 1 million manuscripts by the 16th century. Scholars from across the Islamic world came to study mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and Islamic law within these institutions. The Djinguereber Mosque, built in 1327, still stands today as a testament to the architectural and intellectual prowess of West Africa. But in the Western imagination, Timbuktu became a myth, a phantom city that surely never existed, until explorers actually arrived and had to eat their words. Now move eastward. The kingdom of Aksum, which rose to prominence in the 1st century AD, was a superpower that rivaled Rome, Persia, and China itself. Aksum controlled trade routes that connected Africa, Asia, and Europe. They minted their own currency, established their own written script, and adopted Christianity in the 4th century, making Ethiopia one of the oldest Christian nations on earth. For over 1,000 years, Aksum remained a center of power, learning, and spiritual authority. We must also reckon with Great Zimbabwe. Between the 11th and 15th centuries, this city was a marvel of stone architecture and urban planning. The Great Enclosure, constructed without mortar, contained walls that were 36 feet high and stretched for over 800 feet. Zimbabwe was a hub of the gold and ivory trade, connecting the interior of southern Africa with trading posts on the Swahili coast. The Portuguese, when they arrived, were so stunned by the sophistication of the ruins that they simply refused to believe Africans could have built them. They attributed the structures to mythical peoples, to anyone but the actual architects. The Swahili coast deserves our attention too. From the 8th century onward, Swahili city-states like Zanzibar, Mombasa, and Kilwa developed into thriving mercantile centers. Swahili culture was a synthesis of African, Arab, Persian, and Asian influences, and the Swahili language became the lingua franca of the Indian Ocean trade. These were cosmopolitan, sophisticated societies where merchants, scholars, and artisans exchanged not just goods, but ideas and innovations. What this documentary challenges you to do is simple. Question the narrative you've inherited. Consider what you weren't taught and why. African history isn't a series of footnotes to European expansion. It's a rich, complex, and profound story of human achievement, struggle, innovation, and resilience. From the mathematical genius of Islamic scholars in Timbuktu to the urban planners of Great Zimbabwe, from the administrative brilliance of Mansa Musa to the merchants of Kilwa,